It's alive! Olaram, Sukoigar, Banjatetor, Nerore. Welcome to Season 4, Episode 2, Under the Helm, The Way of the Mandalore Religious Movement Podcast. I am your host, Kadali Kabor. We are joined by Solakan Adika, the Battle Dwarf, Kando Drashea, and Damned Throne, Aranad, but now. I think I got your name right?
Yeah.
Yes! That was just a rough guess on it. I was like, I think that's the last part of his name. And we are your hosts of the podcast. Let's get started. Tenet 1. A Mandalorian must remain armed at all times unless alone. A Mandalorian must be armed with a firearm whenever physically possible. Out of respect for the rights of private property owners, such weapons should remain discreet and concealed whenever possible, unless their use is needed to protect innocent life or property. All weapons, including those not carried, have a spirit of their own. They walk with us and help to guard and protect us and the innocent. A Mandalorian must, to the best of their individual ability, never be forcefully disarmed. Now, being alone means either the Mandalorian is physically alone or is with members of his or her family. This includes friends, spouse, children, etc. The time to be alone means that it is their time at peace, not just their proximity to other people. What weapons are covered under the first tenet? In short, all of them. Firearms, axes, knives, swords, even vehicles, and others are all holy in our faith. All weapons become indwelt with a sacred spirit from the beginning of their manufacturing. This extends to all ammunition, magazines, clips, internal mechanisms, external modifications, etc. They are all held sacred within the religion and are therefore holy artifacts of the faith. Ibe Kruni, this is the way.
Ebek Rooney?
Ebek Rooney.
How do you like my podcast reading? My podcast voice.
It's very
It's
nice.
nice.
It's like my customer
It's improved.
service voice.
I mean, this is a sermonal reading, so we at least have to be interactive and entertaining with it. So
If yes, entertainment. Meh.
We get entertaining after we do the reading.
we're live, so I can't pull out the third.
God. Wow. Okay. Jeez.
And this is what happens when we don't have a topic.
Hey, we can talk about what does it mean to be forcefully disarmed.
So there can be a couple different definitions for that. Forcefully disarmed can either be in a fight and someone has taken the weapon out of your hands, or in the literal definition of being forcefully disarmed, you're going through a security checkpoint and you're forced to turn over your weapons. But I think in this definition, we're more concerned with the fighting aspect of it than going through a checkpoint.
Yeah,
Because a checkpoint, you could get it back afterwards.
I think the checkpoint's more voluntarily disarming yourself.
Yeah, some people might construe it as a forceful disarmament.
Well,
So, just to cover it.
transactional.
Yeah.
It's kind of transactional.
Right.
So, like, in order to get entry, you have to willingly want to get to the place. You have to be disarmed.
Very true.
So
But I mean, if we were children of the watch, that would be So we wouldn't allow that to happen because it's part of our religion.
I don't know. Mando didn't do too good on that in the show.
20 minutes later.
I know everything that's in there.
Yeah.
Right?
He's like, I know everything that's in there.
That scene gives off the same energy as Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Swann just pulling everything that she has on her out.
Oh yeah, that part.
Do you think because she is a woman we would not suspect her of treachery?
Well, when you put it that way.
We move. Please.
One eternity later. Meanwhile.
We move. Please.
And then she's like, wait, hold on. Pulls out the giant blunderbuss.
Yes.
Where did that come from?
You don't want to know.
Barbossa's like, even I don't have that much on me. What the fuck, woman?
Hey, there are perks to being a woman. Not many,
But then
but there
again,
are some.
look who her company was.
Very true.
Yeah.
Like, what, you using your prison purse there?
But also, like, is that so? Speaking of like the children of the watch, is that something that we're working towards to where we can like literally say this is part of our religion? You cannot make me remove it.
That has
Like,
been
I know
a
for certain
topic of
states,
discussion
federal
for a
buildings-
long time. And right now, no. Simple answer, short answer, no. We cannot. Long answer is going to take a lot of lawsuits and court time and even jail time for us to get to that point. The best way I can describe it is the Amish. Where state law and federal law require blinking lights on all vehicles at night. Certain Amish sects will never follow that law, especially old order. I don't know, Kando, I know you know who he is, but Eli Yoder from TikTok.
Yep. The one that that did the video I reposted not too long ago.
Probably. His order that he left is one of those very strict order Amish. And they're diehard where they will never have any technology whatsoever. And it's to the point that anytime that they're pulled over by police, they go to jail instead of excuse me, hiccups. Instead of following the law and changing their way. Because that would give up their seat in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They would rather suffer the laws of man than to
Right, than risk eternal damnation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the route that we're going to end up having to take for this stuff to work for us.
oh hey,
Where we can go into a building, claim religious exemption for something like this, where we can carry our weapons full around. Now, I will say, I recently found a video on TikTok, take it for a grain of salt, that don't quote me, I don't know who the author of the bill was or is, but there's someone out there in legislation, Congress or Senate, whichever one it be, that is trying to make a nationwide constitutional carry.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right, which I agree. But in the meantime, and this is different for state by state, but I chose to get my enhanced concealed carry where I live in Arkansas, and it means
Right.
I can carry to a lot more places.
Yeah, Mississippi, we have that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I have not gotten it because, money tight and all that. I might be able to get
I
it
got you.
soon, but it would be nice to not have to get it at all. Because
Right.
that's
But in
something
the
that
meantime-
just, and I'm not trying to get too political on this either. I'm going to try to keep it as apolitical as possible because we of the way do not delve into the world of politics as a religion.
But yeah, apparently in Arizona, you can get your concealed carry license outside of the state through the mail.
That's interesting.
Now, that's also a fun fact, is most neighboring states, like I'm going to use Mississippi for an example because that's where I live. But, what's the state next to me on the west side? Is that Texas?
Which state are you?
Mississippi.
Mississippi? Yeah, it's Texas and Louisiana.
I know Louisiana is the south part, but goddamn. This is really bad that I have to look up a fucking map.
It's Arkansas.
No, Arkansas is next to Tennessee.
Oh, my bad. But
Okay, yeah, you know what? Yes, Arkansas is also on the northern part of Mississippi too. So that works. So Louisiana, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Alabama will honor Mississippi carry licenses because they're neighboring states. Now, it's questionable whether I go from Mississippi to, say, Arizona, whether they will honor a Mississippi carry license. And vice versa. Going from Arizona, California, Colorado, New Mexico, Nevada? Yeah. Those states would honor, with the exception of probably California, a Arizona carry license.
And do you mind if I interject with one thing?
Go right ahead.
Legality. So, federally inside the United States, it has it's set up to where it is possible for you to travel in between two states that allow either concealed carry or constitutional carry, and go through, say, like a state like New Jersey, right? But as long as the two states you're leaving and going to support, uh, gun rights, if you get pulled over, it can't be counted against you, and you cannot be arrested, as long as you don't necessarily linger too long in that state.
I will interject one exception to this rule. New York. I have heard so many horror stories coming out of people flying. They looked up the regulations and everything for the state that they're flying from and flying to New York. They have the ammunition separate from the magazine. They have the magazine and the ammunition separate from the firearm. Everything is secured and locked. They get to New York. They go to claim their cases. They're arrested. And they are imprisoned for spirits know how fucking long.
Mhm.
Just because they followed the law.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think also one of the things that you have to do if you're, I know this for sure when you're driving through a state. I imagine this is the same if you're flying through. You need to call like the Attorney General's office, I think, or one of a particular state office, let them know, hey, I'm coming into your state. I have I can still carry. What all do I need to do to make sure I'm not arrested?
Right, and that's what I was
Call
talking about.
a state office. Okay.
People will call the state of New York, ask and receive instructions for what they need to do, but they're still arrested because of New York gun laws.
It gave you like a slip or something that you could use and be like, no, the governor
Doesn't matter. They'll still be arrested.
Yep.
I have
That's
seen
ridiculous.
specifically 10 cases at least, thanks to social media, where this happened. It is unfortunate, but right now it's the way of things.
Oh, Canada.
And Dirge, I did message you before we started, so I don't want to hear
Oh,
it.
I was just pulling your leg.
I know.
Apparently,
I'm still
I've
gonna give
been
you shit
given
for it.
Other information that New York City has different laws than New York State, so you would need to call the mayor's office.
So that's actually kind of interesting that you brought up, because how America is supposed to be set up, how the founding fathers intended, is you have the blanket federal laws, and then the state laws trump federal laws.
Yeah.
And then the county laws trump state laws, and then your city ordinances trump county laws. But with the caveat to where elected members, so the sheriffs and thereof, can actually determine if a city's ordinances are to be maintained or ruled unconstitutional.
Right.
But most people don't understand that, and most sheriffs who get elected by their previous sheriff or their previous sheriff's administration, they don't actually know that. Sheriffs have the absolute.
Hey, it's Zell.
Hey, Zell.
Zell.
But sheriffs have the absolute authority over a county, which sheriffs underutilize either
And it's
on
a puppy.
accident because they're uneducated, or by maleficent intent.
It's the puppy tax time. Come on, puppies. Come on, puppies.
Puppy tax. Also, Zell,
It's a puppy.
sir, you did not send me the full translation of Tenet 1.
You gave her the Tenet, but you
English.
didn't give the description.
I don't have the description translated.
Ooh. That explains that then.
Well, get on it.
Zell, for the moment, we don't have a specific topic to cover. However, we are trying to stick kinda close to Tenet 1 if we can.
We could go over, like, a thought that I had was, like, actual viable, like, different shush for different situations type of things, and like why one would prefer to use one over another depending on situations. Like, you're not going to run around with a DE as your everyday carry. That's more of a range weapon to me, and just something to go have fun with at the range.
Zana, thank you for the likes on Kando's live. Thank you very much. This is the way. Zana Mays.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I can't see those.
Yeah, I've got your live up on mine, and I'm assuming there ain't nobody in mine.
Yeah, you know what? Hold on, I'll spam your live.
Thank you, sir. Actually, I'm gonna share yours to Lannis and everyone. See if we can get them to join in too while we're talking.
You know what?
You're live. At least your Twitch.
So, one thing because Children on the Watch was brought up. There's one kind of philosophy I like to cherry pick about that, and I don't know if this is. I don't know if I should talk about it, just because it's quite literally softcore illegal, but I do it anyway because
Talk about it.
Do it, but try to keep it as apolitical as possible.
right,
That's the only rule I have.
So, when I had a traveling gig abroad in the lower 48, I have something called, well, I don't know if I should drop the name because you can Google it, but I have this 3D printed push dagger, but it's about 8 inches long, and it's like it comes to a very fine point in a handle, and it's the thing is it passes through metal detectors, and I have passed through airport security many times with it, and I just keep it in my sock. And so it's an intent it's a tent manufactured weapon
Oh, Nessie
that
liked your
covers
life.
it. Huh?
Talking to Kadale.
Oh,
I didn't hear you.
Nessie liked your life.
Yay! Thank you.
but it's one of the ways that where you can kind of skirt around the never forcefully disarm yourself quite fully, as long as you're able to be, I guess, devious and being willing to court prison, basically. Because like passing airport security with a weapon is very illegal. Don't do it. I'm stupid. Don't follow my example.
See, there you go. Though
You big Rooney.
you've covered everything. Like you've
How
expressed
long
your
ago
opinion,
was
your
this?
idea, but you said we legally don't support this idea.
Very true. Now,
Yeah,
on that same topic,
What is this?
I
What is it saying real quick? Because I missed that.
he was talking about 3D printed weaponry and going through security checkpoints, i.e., airport or work.
Dick doesn't show up on metal detectors.
Right, but it still holds to the tenant, but it is questionable. I'm sorry, Dirge?
bit of a gray zone legally because, like,
Yeah,
technically a weapon, but it doesn't set off any of the things. I mean, I live in Canada. I carry around a blade for myself with the understanding that if I get caught up in something, I'm probably going to jail.
right.
So I adhere to the tenets, but I understand the legalities that I'm responsible for.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, mostly we're. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, it was just like, did I express that in a way that came out right?
Yeah. Mostly we're talking about like different. How do we figure out how to navigate the laws of the land, but still maintaining the tenets? So,
Right.
It's a tricky thing.
It's
It really is.
And that's where it goes into what I was talking about earlier, where we are essentially the Amish in relation to what we're trying to do. Though you weren't here for that part, but essentially how they words are failing me right now, I'm sorry. Technological requirements for their buggies at night, the local, state, federal laws require a blinking light for safety. They will refuse to do that and even go to jail because of their belief that they will suffer eternal damnation if they were to follow these laws.
Yes, which is why in recent years, actually, the local law has permitted the use of the reflector signs so long as it creates a high enough visibility in night, if I remember correctly.
That is true. However, there are still old order sects that will even refuse those.
So with the old order, I have this small Dutch sect nearish me in the Ozark Mountains, but what they do is on their rear buggies they actually have a hurricane lantern, and they just keep it lit at night.
Right.
I mean, there are ways around it like that. Yeah,
And there are.
Like they could have a lantern on the back of their buggy. I think that would do that, and I don't think that would go against the old order Amish tenets because
No.
it's a lantern that they've had.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there are ways like us that we can do that without really breaking the law nor violating the tenets. It's just a very fine line. when you
It's
gotta
going to be a
find-
very fine line. And like I said, it's going to take a lot of lawsuits, a lot of jail time. But at some point, future generations will be able to do the line from the movie, or from the show, sorry, weapons are a part of my religion.
Mhm.
And
It's also
have the
important to remember. Sorry, go ahead.
and have the legality of being able to keep their weapons on them.
I was just going to throw out our community warning. Just you know what I mean. Remember, the first part for a spear to break is generally the tip.
Yeah.
And also, I need to throw this disclaimer out there as soon as we're talking about this kind of stuff. Nobody on this podcast is lawyers that I'm aware of. We are not giving you legal advice. Talk to a lawyer if you have questions about what we're talking about.
Ebik Rooney.
eBay Rooney.
And I want
I
to.
mean, it would be so good to have a lawyer in the way.
I'm sure there might be. It's they're just not here.
We need them in the podcast so they can
Yes.
correct us on a lot of that shit.
We need the TikTok lawyer.
I said, no one on this podcast is a bar certified lawyer. We do not condone any such actions as true legal
Correct.
advice. Seek legal advice from true professionals before doing anything that we are talking about.
And I want to kind of draw comparisons between us and the Sikh, and where the Sikh religion, they need to have like a weapon on them, usually a knife, most of the time an heirloom knife, where they can't part with it. But how they kind of compromise with the American government, which I kind of find unfortunate, the compromise itself. The knife itself needs to be tack welded inside the scabbard, so it cannot be drawn. And for me, it's just a ceremonial piece at that point with no actual like use case purpose. I refuse to go down that route. Like, no, like anything that I have will be capable of being used for its intended purpose, whether it be as a tool for woodworking or stripping wires or seeing blood.
Right.
The thing is the way our tenant is, and the reason for our tenant, it wouldn't doing such a thing would go against, because it essentially doing so makes the weapon inert, thus taking away its capabilities of being a weapon and no longer being considered a weapon in our faith.
Right. And I kind of think of it, being disarmed is much like declawing a cat. It is highly immoral. It's doable, but it's very unethical and should be avoided at all costs. And the people who do it should be not necessarily ostracized, but a pretty good tongue waggling.
Mm-hmm. But a way to go, because a lot of people get their cats declawed because of they ruin the furniture. You can get caps for your cat's claws, so that way it doesn't destroy the furniture. So I feel like that's kind of like what we're doing, is finding a cap, so we don't have to be declawed. It's a bad analogy. I'm sorry.
It is a bad analogy, but it's also very true.
I think my cat heard you because he growled at me and ran off.
Whoopsie.
And it is possible,
What's going on over there?
to trim your cat's claws so they're not as sharp, or at least to blunt
Hi.
them.
What's doing over there? My dog heard declawing and she came over.
Like, you're not doing this to me.
No, I would not do that to my puppy. Puppy cactus.
But I think
She wants the butt scratches.
right now, with us being in the pre-infancy stage of the religion, we individually need to make sure we understand the laws of the land to a point where we can confidently say yay, nay, or maybe on certain things like weapons, for instance.
Very true.
Like, make sure you understand the local laws, your country's laws, wherever you are, and if you are a keeper of the way, know the laws that apply to you for sure. Like the back of your hand.
I know people are going to throw it out there, but concealed, out of sight, out of mind is a valid way to carry, but you still have to follow laws.
Yeah.
Yes. So like on federal land, so like veteran cemeteries and most VA hospitals, or at least VA clinics, is federal land, and if you even conceal carry on there, into the clinic or whatever, or on the cemetery, and you get caught with it, you are going to big boy jail. No ifs and ands.
I will not do well in big boy jail. I will not do well in big boy detention.
I look too pretty for jail.
Jail's not that bad. Jail's not that bad. At least county jail.
Well, yeah.
I wouldn't know. I've never been to any of them.
So
In Canadian jail, we get given rations of beaver tails.
interesting.
I mean, actually, the jail that I was in had really good food, so yes, I
Was
had
it mac and cheese and nugget weekend when you went?
No, it was actually enchiladas.
Damn.
Right.
Well, there's either enchiladas or wheat cold sandwiches. You never know.
Don't go to jail, people. Don't do it. It's not fun. But also,
Do not recommend horrible hotel service.
agreed. And no privacy whatsoever, and the wait staff yell at you. So
As the safety briefing goes, do not add or subtract to the population. Do not end up in jail. If you do end up in jail, assert dominance quickly.
yes.
I'm just saying, it's a really quick bonding exercise when you're gripping the bowl and staring at your celly right in his eyes.
Assert that dominance.
There's
Well, also, like,
And make sure you record it to have evidence for the grandkids.
On that weird
I have
topic,
my mug shots
saw-
if you guys ever want to see them.
I saw a TikTok of a guy talking about his time in jail, and he had a cellmate. The cellmate says, "When you take a piss, you sit down
Yes.
because you are just temporary. I'm
Yes.
permanent."
Are you referring to JD Delay, sir?
I don't know. All I know is I saw it one time. I'm going, that makes sense.
Yeah, I follow JD Delay as well.
You the big Irish guy with weird nipples?
Yes. The big nipples.
Just like
Yep.
The mountains of nipples. Yes. Yeah, that's who we're talking about.
But also, we were talking about this earlier. The only way for us as a religion and be able to use the I'm a Mandalorian religion card eventually, people are going to be going to jail.
Damn it, man. Damn it, Dirge.
I will say, because I'm probably more radical when it comes to weaponry, I may be the first.
There will I'm sure at some point there will be a lot. You're just
But
the tip of the
also,
spear here.
Make sure if you go in, don't go in for doing something actually bad.
Yes. Well, it's like it's one of the things. Like people, like back when I had been carry before last year, or the start of that last year, like I would have people ask me, it's like when I would go to Wally World and stuff like that. I'm like, and the people are like, can you have like whispering to security, is like, can you have that? And everybody said just like, oh yeah, as long as he's not threatening anybody about it, he's fine. And like I had one more security come up, and we had a conversation because he was also a Marine, and he saw the patch on my hat, the Marine insignia, and he's just like wanted to talk to me about it and all that, and I'm like, yeah, it's just having a quick 15-minute conversation with his security guard. and like that seemed to chill all the other workers out because sometimes it's really funny when you see other customers scramble over themselves to get away from you because they think guns are bad, and it's just like, no, I'm comparing Oreos. Am I doing anything threatening with comparing Oreos? No.
It's like, do I want the white on black or do I want the black on white?
I mean, it's usually peanut butter and regular.
Oh. Mine is the carrot cake. That's my weakness.
Oh, I love carrot cake. It's my favorite birthday cake.
No, the carrot cake Oreos.
Oh, gotcha. I haven't tried those yet.
They're good. I love them. I will destroy a pack of one of the regular size packs easily in a fucking day if I could.
Oreos are my personal fentanyl.
But also, like, I know we have Dirge who's Canadian. Do we have anyone else on the podcast right now that's from a different country so we can get like?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Because I know most of us are like, yeah, the American laws, blah blah blah.
Part of the new states of North Canada or whatever.
He's in the 51st United States now.
Right. But it would be good to get other countries' perspectives on like weapons laws. Because
we have had
even like carry pepper spray, right?
We have had one from Scotland, and their laws are so strict that she can't even carry a knife. Mm-hmm. Ceremonial knives have to have a permit to be able to be carried, even just for the wedding. So I think it's gotten to the point that I remember her talking about it, and they have dummy knives now for the ceremony.
What the fuck?
I just don't understand how like
they're non-functional. They look the look, but they're non-functional.
Yeah, so
right,
they can get the police called on them. I remember these stories from her, and she could have the police called on her just for looking suspicious.
What the fuck?
Like, she can go to jail because she looked like she was going to do a crime.
That's like thought crime, like 1984 stuff.
Oh, yeah.
This is like Minority Report level shit.
Yeah.
Like, how do you even, like...
Now, I don't know if she is still in Scotland or if she has moved to Texas to be with her Redor. Zell, I know you and Kando knew who I'm talking about. Dirge, I know you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm aware.
But, like, I just, especially Scotland, like, didn't think that they would be the ones to fall so easily.
Yeah, well, it's...
But, like, how would the tenants apply there? What do you do?
Jail. It's literally
just like we've been talking about. It's going to require people going to jail, being incarcerated for our beliefs, for that step to be firmly planted, so that we can build upon it.
You go to jail. Everyone goes to jail.
No,
pretty much.
All of you. Jail. You speak too loud. Jail. You have opinion. Jail.
Well,
you step on a rock. Jail.
It's the curb. Sorry, Zell.
Just saying, straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Straight to jail.
And it's
They put you in jail.
Usually to curb a certain I guess area of dissidence, and it's definitely 1984-esque.
Right to jail.
Scotland, rise up.
I mean, they already did with wonderful praise. They even got a movie out of it.
But they failed.
One big issue with the American system is that it's not meant to actually rehabilitate. Like it's like another. Yeah.
Well, it's even so like with the lack of due diligence in America, people have a wanton, I guess, a depravity to not separate the crime from the intent. So
Right.
if you have a knife and you're holding it because you're doing electrician work or whatever, they think, oh no, he has a knife, and they scream bloody murder and run away.
Yeah.
Well,
You could be opening a letter with a knife. He has a knife.
Yeah, and it's just like, well, yeah, this.
What do you a knife? Oh,
He has a pointy stabby.
Yeah, so it's
I
like,
forgot we're on TikTok. We have to be careful verbiage.
yeah, but it's
Cut your vegetables.
use a God's given knife, aka your teeth.
Actually, the first one was a
I
jawbone.
went in the whole other direction when you said that. I'm happy you said teeth.
Oh no! Please don't share with the class.
No. Share with the server, not with the class.
Last time I did that, I was busted for indecent exposure.
Oh, what the?
Oh God!
And this is why we send him to Canada.
This is why he
and
is
it's gonna
not
sound bad.
allowed in the cameras.
Ah. But also, there's like, how do you?
I mean, he can turn his camera on in Discord. It's just not going to be seen here.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, I just thought it was because I was powerfully ugly.
How do you like get around, or not get around, because that's not legal.
That's not legal.
How do you deal with the laws, sir? Dirge.
I'm a weird person. So I just carry what I'm going to carry. I don't carry a firearm, but like I'll carry like the CRKT provoke, right? And I'm just prepared to take the consequences therein. Because I'm not gonna hide how I want to live my life. But at the same point, I'm not gonna sit there and whine and like try and find some underhanded way of circumventing the laws. So it's kind of a one man protest. I protest by simply carrying what I want to carry and being legally liable.
And I want to say that one grateful thing in America, so the government can't regulate anything that is in common circulation, and with the 2024 gun ownership statistics, there is 3.4 guns per every one citizen, amounting to about 60 million firearms.
I count as 2 people.
And gun ownership is going up sporadically just because how we're progressing, as of, what is it, 26th of January 2025, or 2025.
Oh, so today.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm glad everybody wholesale is arming themselves, but the thing that I am both grateful of is that when everybody's armed, everybody's honest with each other. Everybody's respecting of each other. Because if some person wants to victimize somebody else, they're going to have 3 guns trained on them, judging what they do. If they try to do criminal activity, then they're going to have a meeting. Well, they're just, yeah. Well, I mean, they're just going to have a meeting with God, and just some mortal is going to arrange the meeting.
No.
I mean,
Out of all of those people who have bought firearms, how many are regularly going to the range and practicing?
That is also very important. Just like a pen, it's useless unless you practice with it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point out, in Canada, we have some of the strictest gun laws, and they keep getting stricter. And as that happens, our gun crime is going up at like almost a factor of 4.
Exponentially, yes. Hey, Joe Puppy. Hey, no licking the feet.
Exponential growth. It's like exponential growth times exponential growth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just because people are owning things that are technically illegal, because a lot of those folks have been grandfathered. It's just the more you try and tighten your reins on things, the more the public's going to want it.
Yeah. The more that will actually slip through your grip.
And all these laws are doing is just law-abiding citizens. Like
Mhm.
law-abiding citizens.
So that effect is actually called the Barbara Streisand effect. I think that's the effect. Hold on.
Oh man, I thought the Barbara Streisand's effect is where you can like land like aircraft on their nose.
No,
To quote the Incredibles, when
it's
everyone's super, no one is.
okay.
Yeah.
On Wiki, the Streisand effect is the unintended consequence of attempts to hide, remove, or censor information, where the effort instead increases public awareness of the information.
Mhm.
You know?
Mhm, 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 mhm.
I mean, I'll fully say that I feel that Canada steps on its population's rights to self-defense in a very unethical manner and to a ridiculously large degree.
I mean,
Right.
Alberta, Saskatchewan are just honorary U.S. states anyway.
Well, kind of going back to earlier about how many people go to the range with their pew-pews. And here's the thing, like with the Tenet about being forcefully disarmed. I think that if whatever weapon you choose, whether it's pew, slice, 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 punch, punch, whatever it is, make sure you are trained and you practice with it. It's not just pew-pews. Make sure whatever you decide to carry as your EDC, everyday carry for you normies out there, you are trained in it. Because like nunchucks, if you use it and you don't know what you're doing, you will hurt yourself more than the other person.
And I will say with a stabby, fighting with a stabby is actually harder and more fundamental than people think. It's not just bringing a a stabby and just going to work with it. There's actually a lot of technique in order for it to not be open to disarmament and counter stabby. So
I mean,
it's
I'll say that you shouldn't pull anything as a weapon if you're not prepared to have it used against you.
Very true.
Correct.
right. Whenever you bring a weapon into a fight, it is not your weapon. It's the group's weapon. You're just temporary owner, right? For right now.
You are the current user.
As
Yes.
far as me for train, like I have a trainer for each of the different profiles of knives that I carry, right? And I train with them, I don't know, 2-3 times a week. Could go more,
I read so
I
many
mean,
groups.
but yeah, you definitely should be training your equipment.
Right.
And
Well,
a lot
also,
of
like-
sorry.
No, you go ahead. It's fine.
A lot of the times, it is best to literally to grab a partner, and there's a rubber training dagger where you can it can hold its shape, but if you actually stab, it kind of deforms, so it doesn't really hurt. Like you'll get like tiny, half a dime sized bruises on you, but it's not gonna hurt you any more than that. And it's
Pardon me, guys.
it's very important to not only get those, but to experiment with your, uh, play style along with the fundamentals. Because, so like I was a trained swordsman at one time. Everybody has their own movement styles and like play styles when it comes to swordsmanship. So like for me, I was formerly trained in German longsword and sword and buckler. So when the fundamentals are established, you can kind of play around inside of that loose guideline and kind of do what you can to win your little skirmishes. And it was only for contact, so it wasn't for blood or anything. But it's very, very important that you get at least some kind of training equipment in order to not actually hurt yourself, your partner, or any living creature around you, or even any inanimate object around you.
Mhm.
An
And
untrained
here's the other
one
thing.
is worse than a trained one.
Yes. Another thing. Your body is also a weapon if you train it and hone it correctly.
Very true.
Right.
Or
It's,
So
children.
you can never be disarmed if your body is the weapon.
So there's this
You
whole-
can be. Just go ask Anakin Skywalker.
Yes, you can be disarmed by having your arms cut off.
'Tis merely a flesh wound.
Not once, but twice on one hand. And it's the little, I guess, the adage in the military, the youth and exuberance is no match for old age and treachery. Well, the base wisdom there is if you have if you're farther along on the Dunning-Kruger bell curve, well, once you get some time under your belt, you become way more dangerous because you know what is and what isn't possible. And that's what we're getting at. The base wisdom is you know exactly the extent of your capabilities without making an ass of you or putting yourself in harm's way accidentally.
So yeah, make sure whatever you decide to use as a weapon, you are well versed, trained, and adequately familiar with it. And your hands can be thrown.
Well, it's not only hands can be
I
thrown.
was thinking cans to be thrown.
Yeah. The body's ergonomics can also be manipulated with the joint locks and pressure points and so on and so forth. So it's not just blunt damage, but you can actually mess somebody up with learning pressure points in a way of a pacifistically, if that's your shindig, put you out of harm's way by incapacitating your opponent.
Right.
Boom, boom, boom.
So, before we start wrapping up, I just realized we have not had Conspiracy Corner yet.
Right?
Dirge, put the tinfoil hat on.
Oh, well, I don't have one prepped today, but I will go with a long and old one. You guys ever figure that the reason why the Canadian government is so intent on what's the word I'm looking for? Limiting what we can use for weapons in our self-defense is because when we get in those situations, we kind of go off the board. So sometimes I wonder if it's just to stop insurrection.
Yeah.
Historically, it's to stop insurrection. Look at Mao Zedong with his fascistic movement.
Which reminds me, next guy I got to name him Chairman Mao.
Battle you have one you want to talk about?
Yeah, sure. Basically, with the recent declassification of the MLK, JFK, and RFK files, a lot of people are surprised at MLK's private activities.
Who the fuck is MLK?
Martin Luther
King.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm still waking up here.
Nah, you're good. JFK means John F. Kennedy, and then RFK, is it Ronald? Ronald F.
Robert,
Kennedy?
I think.
Robert
F. Kennedy.
Robert F. Kennedy.
Okay, yeah. So basically, all of them. Sorry?
I said, yeah, the Canadian got educated.
Canadian got educated.
Education of the Canadian. But yeah, basically all three of them expired with what's the appropriate term? Mysterious circumstances.
Oh, the heart attack gun.
A heart attack gun.
I mean,
it is possible with directed energy to induce a myocardial infarction.
but yeah, basically with some of those declassifications of things, people are finding out information on people that they didn't. They were surprised that MLK was not perfect.
What?
A human not perfect? Say it isn't so.
I know, it's crazy.
Oh, no. The Dickens, you say.
I haven't seen much on JFK and RFK's files release. I've only seen some of the stuff on MLK. So I think it's hilarious that people are like, he cheated on his wife?
It was the 60s. Everybody cheated on their wife.
He did.
I'm pretty sure their wife cheated on their wife.
I was gonna be like, if you're all vaccinated, is it really cheating?
What was
Yeah,
that,
so it's just funny how people, with the declassification of certain like high profile individuals, they're just like, what? This celebrity or this politician wasn't perfect?
There is nothing new under the sun.
Right.
It's,
Have any of you guys seen any of the documents floating around?
just the Epstein files and the Diddy documents.
Well, yeah, some people are saying that MLK was actually the pre-Diddy before Diddy became a thing.
Oh, interesting. I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, that's some of the files basically. And it could just be one of the other conspiracies is the government released these, but these are released to make MLK look bad. Because, I mean, the government probably was trying to blackmail or make him look bad. But basically, according to some of these documents, MLK had lots of parties with lots of people, and things happened, and there was probably illegal / illicit substances present at these get-togethers. I hope I used the correct terminology.
I mean, it sounds PG in my book.
Yeah, that sounded pretty PG.
Has anyone seen Employee of the Month?
No.
Been a long fucking time.
Ain't no party like an Iqbal party.
Has anybody seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
No.
Oh, damn, that's a good movie.
All right,
So,
so
yeah,
I think at this point,
some
it's
people are
I think we need to start wrapping it up.
Yeah.
okay. You want a conspiracy corner, and I gave it to you.
You did. But let's start wrapping up the conspiracy corner. No, doesn't have to be. It is not conspiracy hour.
Yeah, I was about to say it's been almost an hour now.
Has been over an hour on mine, at least.
Remember,
Spirit part.
they pack hot dogs in packs of 12 and only sell hot dog buns in packs of 11.
That's just somebody who can't do good math.
Well, we're trying to make it easy on you.
Yeah, would you rather edit a 2-hour podcast or an hour?
Fine.
That's my math. It's like, I don't want to listen to this for 2 hours. Let's make it 1 hour.
We could just keep going, and then we could chop it up and then just pre-release it. If you catch my meaning, it's already there. We don't have to pre-record it. There we go. Wow, come on, brain, function.
Anyway, that's all I had.
Below the function of my brain.
That's all I have to say about that.
That's all I have to say about that.
All right. I have been your host, Kadali Kabor. We appreciate all of you who stuck around for this shit show of a podcast.
What a way to start off the year.
I know, right? So, like I said, we appreciate everyone who has stuck around. For anyone who will listen to this post-edit, we appreciate y'all too. Bless y'all's hearts.
Also, if you're alive now, you need to go watch the post edits. Our Battle Dwarf does some extra stuff.
Yes, she does.
It adds a whole new thing to it, a whole new level.
Especially last week, because that is definitely probably was fun for the Battle Dwarf to edit, considering technical difficulties at the time. Or I should say technical negligence.
It's a challenge.
Right.
Hey, Delta.
Thank you everyone for being with us on this joyride. hit up our link trees. Mine and Kando's have all of our social medias posted to it. It'll take you to the Faith's social medias if you would like to become a part of the Way. It will take you to our Discord server. It'll take you to Facebook, Instagram, the main Facebook page. It'll also take you to the Armorers Guild. Go hit up our Armorers Guild. They make some great stuff. Shameless plug. I've got stickers and I've got a 3D printer. I need orders.
Oh, did you attach to that heart of Beskar heart or heart of iron? I mean,
I have, and I have not been able to get it to break. Oddly enough.
we're gonna have to figure that out because that
Yeah.
would be such a dope little thing.
So Dirge had the idea of putting a
No, I took the idea from concentration camps and the red and the what are they called? Red Cross.
well, essentially we're going to be putting coordinates for safe meeting zone, or basically a covert for each regional area. When we get that set up, put those coordinates inside of the Korota Beskar, the Heart of Irons, where you can just simply break it and open, look at the coordinates, and go to your safe space. But I haven't been able to get the point where it will actually break in half. So I have to work on that.
The idea I stole was basically they used to press records with stuff near the middle center hole. And so, like, when these guys from Red Cross would come in, they give out, like, records or whatever, which wasn't always, like, allowed, but in some camps it was. You'd break it, and you'd find, like, little packets of gelatin or mats or what have you. You can look it up. It's, like, a legit thing.
Yep. So, yeah. Go to the Armorers page. Get in touch with an armorer. See if they can make something for you. I have been your host, Kadali K. Bohr. Ebit Grooney.
Ebit Grooney.
Yes, he's on the moderate. Grooney.
Just settle down.